Welcome once again to the Stadium Journey podcast. Thanks for joining us this evening, or this afternoon, this morning. I don't know when you're listening. Our website, stadiumjourney.com, is the world leader in sports travel information. We have reviews of over 2,500 stadiums, ballparks, arenas, gymnasiums, cricket. What's a cricket oval called?
Grounds. Cricket grounds.
Grounds, racetracks, you name it. And we are more than just an awesome website. Connect with us on our social media channels. Follow us at Stadium Journey. And if you're looking for the podcast, and you should be, you can find audio versions of the Stadium Journey podcast simply by picking up the telephone, search HIAC Talk Radio Network, wherever you look for your favorite podcasts. We're there, Apple, Google, whatever the search ones are. Video simulcast of the Stadium Journey podcast. Say you want to watch us and not just listen. Go to Stadium Journey's YouTube page. You'll find all of our podcasts there. And if you want to be part of the live studio audience, we record live every other Tuesday night at 7 Eastern at danlaw.tv. Let me take a second and introduce the gang, because that's what PA announcers do. They announce people. Somebody cue up the music. I'll start doing it like I do at the games. Anyway, Dave Cotney's here. Follow him online at ProFan9. Mark Viquez is with us. Find him at Ballpark Hunter. The above-average comedian Dan Calachico is here producing the whole thing. Follow him at DanLaw83. And I'm Paul Baker. You can follow me at PuckmanRI. So this is the Stadium Journey podcast, right? And it's been a while since we talked about all of our road trips. So tonight, we're putting the journey back in Stadium Journey. Hit the road. Cue up Eddie Rabbit.
I can't afford that.
Sorry, you'll just have to imagine it in your head.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
so let's do this panel style. Mark, why don't you start us off with one of the places you've been in the last 3 months?
Last 3 months, I will tell you one place I went to that I was just didn't know what to expect. That was Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati, home of the UC Bearcats. Don't know if any of you gentlemen have been out there, but Dave has, and stop me if you disagree with anything.
I've been by
exciting, thrilling, energetic, amazing student cheer block. The cheer team, the cheerleaders, the mascot. I mean, these guys were putting on a show. And I've been to a lot of basketball games this year, and I've seen everything from kind of 500 people to packed houses. So I didn't know where Cincinnati was going to fall in that. But my goodness, you see that's a basketball-loving city. You know, they don't have a pro team, but they have 2 college teams. And I went to games, 2 games that day, and they 20,000 people between the two. So, yeah, I loved it. It's the perfect size for basketball. It's a field house first, nothing else. It is tailor-made for the game. And, the students were insane. They were throwing T-shirts out after every bucket or so. They brought the mascot out on this kind of platform, and he's cheering, getting the fans insane. Just a beautiful building. I had not been in that built arena for about 20 years, and it went through major renovations recently. So I had a blast. So if you're in Cincinnati, check out the Bearcats. Tickets aren't too bad. $40 perhaps. Only problem is it's on campus, and parking can be a little bit wonky. But I think where I parked, I had a much longer walk compared to where most people do park. So maybe that was my fault. And then of course the baseball field and football stadium are next door, so everything is right there. But yeah, very impressed. I like when I go to an arena thinking, it's going to be okay, and then just being blown out the doors. I mean, who knew? I never knew the Bearcats were that big had a following in Cincinnati. And shame on me, because I used to live there. I used to live right down the street too, so should have known better.
Yeah, I went there in 2015. I mean, physically, the inside, you could tell it still had kind of that we do phys ed classes here feel to it.
Yeah.
And I think they've done a lot physically to it. But yeah, I mean, as good a college basketball atmosphere fan wise as you're gonna find, it was a ton of fun there, and I saw them play South Florida, blew them out, and yeah, we had a blast.
Yeah, I saw them play South Florida too. I think that's who they played. I think they played a team from Florida. But yeah, they took away those bleachers. You're right. When I first walked in there, it was like the pull-out bleachers that you would sit at a high school gym, and they've all been replaced. So, yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. But then again, if you're a Cincinnati fan or a college basketball fan, you're not surprised. You knew about this the whole time. So that's making my way to all these basketball gyms.
And they got that funny brown statue in the front, the Bearcat, which is, I mean, what the heck's a Bearcat? I don't know. Looks like the limbs are way too long. Kind of looks like a sloth or something.
It does. It does. It's right next. It's close to the Oscar Robertson statue.
Yes.
But if you go inside, they tell you why the team's called the Bearcats. They give you a little bit of a history, which I liked a lot. I noticed that when you went into the gym, they had the retired numbers, the championships hanging up. They had the history of the team throughout the concourse. You don't see that at every arena. And then, of course, they like their buckets of popcorn and Skyline chili. I've never seen so many buckets of popcorns, like plastic souvenir popcorn buckets of different flavors, along with the Skyline chili. So every Cincinnati venue has, at least that I can have been to, has Skyline chili or their version of it. Yeah, well, pretty soon it's going to be Skyline chili flavored popcorn.
There you go.
That's next.
And you know the other phenomenon I see every time you go to a game, somewhere at every game, no matter where you are, what part of the country, what stadium, what sport, there's always a kid with a souvenir popcorn bucket on his head.
Oh, yeah.
You know
Tons
what?
Of fun.
I'm going to play right off of that. I wasn't going to start with this, but since you started college basketball, Mark, I'll keep going. So the majority of my travels over this time, we went to Texas. My daughter is pretty jealous because my son and I got 3 new states in, and she only got 1. So we did Oklahoma, because we drove down Oklahoma on the way down, and then we spent the majority of our time in Texas. And then
real quick, Dave, run down that trip for everybody, because that was a hell of a trip.
Oh, okay.
Run it down real quick. We're not going to touch all the arenas, but
yeah,
run it down.
So here we go. We left Oklahoma City Thunder, excuse me, TCU basketball, Dallas Mavericks, the Rodeo in Fort Worth, UT Arlington Mavericks basketball, Dallas Stars, SMU Mustangs basketball, the Cotton Bowl, my mystery spot, which I'll talk about in a minute, and Bellarmine basketball on the way home. So, but the spot I want to talk about is like the ticket in town this time of year, and that is Arkansas Razorbacks basketball. So Arkansas is not a big state population wise. They Fayetteville's a small city, college town, but man, do they love their Razorbacks. Bud Walton Arena, Walton as in like Walmart Walton. So, there's some financial backing there. And, the arena itself was circa 90s or circa 80s or whatever. It just had that kind of dark exterior brick kind of feel to it. But holy, do the fans so totally change everything in that place. And I guess one of the things that I love about college is that, college has their own sort of traditions, their own sort of fan things that happen. A lot of it is run by the students. So, you get your introductions, and the fans will go with the who cares or they suck or whatever, or, some of them read the newspaper or turn around backwards. But not often do I find that outside of the students that the fans really get involved as much as they do in Arkansas. And the big thing, of course, at Arkansas is they do the Woo Pig Suey. And that is their big chant, and everybody's up for it. And if you're not from Arkansas, you will learn very quickly how to do the Woo Pig Suey. And, we just had a blast. considering like it was January, campus was empty. Now we did see a conference game. It was basically the first game of conference play. All the previous college basketball games we saw were really sparsely attended. So it was really like it was difficult to get a sense of what TCU was really like. You got a physical sense, you got a sense of what they were trying to do in there, but it just wasn't the same because they didn't have the numbers in there. But that place was banged out for Arkansas, Missouri, and we just had a blast. It was one of the highlight games that we saw on this trip. So yeah, Woo Pig Suey. I'm not going to do it here because it's just not right. But if you want to see the Woo Pig Suey, just go over to my YouTube channel, and I've got a Woo Pig Suey going on there. And imagine like Arkansas basketball is big, multiply that by 10, and you got Arkansas football, right? So now, of course, football not in season, but only ticket in town.
And listeners, if you're wondering why we're not going to talk, I just mentioned, like Dave mentioned this whole trip, and he said he's only talking about Arkansas basketball in this one. The reason we're not talking about all of our trips is we counted up the places we've been to in the past 3 months, and we don't want the podcast to last for a day and a half.
It's a lot.
I counted up 22 different venues in the last 3 months. Dave, you said you had 25. Mark, 25. You couldn't even count how many you had.
I have at least 15 that I can think of off the top of my head.
So yeah, that would be a little lengthy. So we're picking out some highlights for y'all.
15.
All right, so I'm up.
You're up.
All right, let me talk about the freshest venue, a venue I just went to on Sunday night. Not a basketball arena. Sorry, guys, I'm breaking the trend. But it's a brand new hockey arena. I'm going to say the name wrong, I think, but it's the Martyr Family Arena, the brand spanking new home of the Sacred Heart Pioneers, located in Fairfield, Connecticut. Now, this arena is so new that it just opened up about a month ago. So it's only held about a half dozen games. I actually was lucky enough to get going for Game 3 of the Atlantic College Hockey Association first-round playoffs. Sacred Heart hosted a first-round best-of-3. Ended up getting beaten by Niagara, the visitors. It was an upset, the 6th seed over the 3 seed. But the arena, holy cow, it is gorgeous. Anyone who knows the history of Sacred Heart hockey or who has followed Stadium Journey and my reviews over the years, when I started with Stadium Journey, I'm coming up on my 10th anniversary. I did my first Sacred Heart review probably 2 years in. They played at a little community rink, the Milford Ice Palace. So small that they weren't even mentioned that they played there. The whole place had flags up and banners for the Pee Wee teams that played there. Not a single mention of the Sacred Heart Pioneers, a Division I hockey team. Pretty sad. Then they moved up in the world, and they played at Webster Bank Arena, which is now the Total Mortgage Arena. They played there for a good 5 seasons. 6,000-seat arena. It's the home of the Bridgeport Islanders. They never really got much traction there. So they built this nice arena on campus, not on the main campus. They have a main campus and they have a smaller satellite campus about a mile away. It's located on the satellite campus, but as you drive in, you pull off of the Merritt Parkway, and there it is. This beautiful glass facade. You'll pull around and park in the parking garage. Parking garage connects underground. You come out on the second level, take some escalators down, and there you are on this giant open concourse, 360 concourse with all the glass on one side, and on the other side are the luxury boxes with a nice steep seating bowl. Seating bowl is incredibly steep, so steep that if you're getting up there in age like me, you don't want to go sit down on the glass because you need a mountain goat to help you up those stairs. So had drink rails, general admission. It's got some nice concessions, a little team store, something Sacred Heart never had before. So I got to finally add a Sacred Heart puck to my collection. But beautiful little rink. And that's been the trend up here in New England, where a lot of the smaller schools had played off campus in community rinks. It started with Bentley. Bentley built an on-campus arena. UConn's built theirs that just opened in March, as did Sacred Heart, and I think a couple other schools are following suit. So you're going to see a lot of nice, dedicated places like this dotting the landscape. I think the model might have been RIT. Dave, you've been to RIT, correct?
Yeah, I've been to RIT, liked RIT. It was, it's not in R, but it's not in Rochester, actually. It's in Henrietta, but yeah, it's a nice, it gives you the idea that that hockey is the number one draw at RIT, for sure.
Yeah, so you're seeing the same thing now in different schools across the Northeast. And maybe the Midwest too. There's a lot of smaller schools joining, like Lindenwood just joined, and St. Joseph's, St. Thomas. So some smaller schools out in the Midwest are also joining Division One. So maybe we'll see lots of nice little places, little palaces.
I hope so.
Like Martyr, yeah. So
yeah, it's
great experience and inexpensive. Yeah. Free parking, $10 ticket.
Yeah, like you're saying, Midwest. I think the closest college to me is Miami, Ohio, which is 2 hours, and then little 2 hours and change is Notre Dame. So, and then of course 3 hours is Ohio State. So yeah, we can use them out here.
Rumblings are
come out.
University of Illinois may be developing a program as well. So
yeah, they know they have a club team that'd still be 2 hours away from me. So IU, Purdue, Butler, Ball State, Indiana State. I don't know where you're going to put these ice rinks, but think about it. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right, so round one is done. Put your votes in now. All right, Mark, what do you got next?
Otter, Indiana State University, the Holman Center, where I saw the Sycamores play in another renovated facility. When I went to school at Indiana State, this thing looked like it had opened. It opened in 1973, I believe, and it had not changed since 1973. But now they decided to create a nice design on the exterior of the building, along with that awesome Larry Bird statue, giant glass windows letting in natural light. I think all the seats were redone. They have a giant video scoreboard that replaced, I don't know how old the other scoreboard was, but everything is modern. They have a suite area. The concession lines are still very long because I think they have volunteer men and women helping out. So that still hasn't changed. But yeah, it was just great to be back in Terre Haute, even though I got a flat tire. I saw my tire was low. So I pulled over, put air in the tire, and when I pulled it out of the valve, the whole thing came out. So whoosh, there went my tire. So I slapped the donut on, went to the game, which was at 2:00, left the game about at 5, went to Bell Tire, and I said, hey, what can you do? And they fixed it, put air in the tire. I was on my way. So I don't know if you guys have ever had any flat tires on your journeys, but sometimes
I came out after a baseball game one time to my car and found a flat tire.
Yeah. So sometimes it can throw a little wrench. I think it's maybe the 4th time this has happened. Each time I was able to take care of it pretty quickly, without missing the game. But, it's just one of the casualties that we have as Stadium Journey writers. So Indiana State Sycamores, they had a great season this year. They have a kid named Robbie Avila, who is, really getting popular out there as a freshman. The fans are coming out to see him. Tennis was okay. It was no Cincinnati, but then, I'm not comparing a mid-major to Cincinnati. I'd compare it to maybe a Ball State or Miami where I live. So it was a nice crowd. The fans were into the game, but, they got knocked out of the MVC tournament a few days ago. So their season's probably over, barring a postseason invite to someplace. So it was nice. It's just nice to see your alma mater just, getting with the times and updating its venue. I think they can add a little bit more murals or nostalgia hanging up on the walls. I know a lot of it comes from that 1979 season, but John Wooden coach there, we have some memories. So, I don't know. It's a work in progress. And one thing I noticed about the Holman Center is that you are within walking distance from Wabash Ave, which is downtown, to restaurants, to bars, to places of interest. So whereas in Cincinnati and Xavier, you're not near anything. Terre Haute really, you're close to some places to grab something to eat, free parking as well. And tickets start at $8 to see college basketball. You really can't complain about that. So the folks in the Wabash Valley, get your butts out there and support the trees. Come on. They got a good team. They went 22-11 this year. Good things are coming.
Nice.
So,
well, I'm gonna switch gears slightly. I'm gonna stick with college, but I'm gonna switch over to college football, and I'm gonna start cheating. So, one of the things
Cheating,
that
we make the rules. How can you cheat?
that's true. Well, I could cheat if you guys accuse me of cheating. So, well, I did a quick rundown of my trip, and one of the things that I didn't mention in my trip is all of the arenas. Well, I guess, did we tour any arenas? I don't know if we toured any arenas. We toured stadiums, though. Toured where the Rangers play, toured where the Dallas Cowboys practice, and of course we toured AT&T Stadium. This game was a bit of a throw-in because originally wasn't supposed to go to the Cotton Bowl, but somehow the locals didn't like the matchup that they got, and tickets, which were face value $150, were going for $20. So my family was super nice and let me not do the water park, and instead I went to AT&T Stadium for the Cotton Bowl. And I will tell you right now, and it's only March, when we do our year in review, this is the game of the year. There's no way that anything is going to be able to beat it. And I don't know if you saw the Cotton Bowl. It was like maybe not the ultimate underdog story, but it was a pretty significant underdog story because it was Tulane and it was USC. And in that game, Tulane just kind of hung around. And then, they brought it home right at the end, and they end up winning 46-45. And it was an absolute fantastic game. I was lucky enough to meet our friend Michael Davis down there, and we hung out at the Cotton Bowl together. And I said to him as the game was going on, this has got that Boise State, Oklahoma kind of feel to it. And sure enough, Tulane kind of blew the doors open, and wow, what an upset. Now AT&T Stadium, of course, colloquially known as Jerry World. Man, this was not the greatest spot. I was really not happy with the stadium. And probably the biggest thing is between the 30s, between the two 30-yard lines on the main level. Now, the main level is like the second deck. So that's where you walk in. If you're going to go down, you got to go down. But between the 30s is a club section. And if you want to walk from one end of the stadium to the other end of the stadium, you have to go up to the 400s, across, and then down. It is completely blocked off. You cannot walk through. And I don't know what you think when I hear, Jerry Jones. I get this feeling like this. He's kind of this, elitist, this kind of snob guy. And man, did I get that feeling when I went there. It was just so disappointing that you couldn't even walk. And we've talked about places like this before. I know, Mark, you've talked about guaranteed rate, where the White Sox play and you can't walk around the lower level if you don't have a lower level ticket. I mean, this was the same sort of thing, but like just even to the next level, it was really just really kind of bizarre. But I mean, the game itself was a blast. It's kind of strange that the Cotton Bowl, of course, is not played at the Cotton Bowl. They actually have the Cotton Bowl has an office inside AT&T Stadium now. And actually it's kind of a neat office. It has a helmet from every team that's ever won the Cotton Bowl. It's a stop on the tour, which is kind of neat. I mean, the place is massive. It's huge. It dwarfs everything. You know, you could see it from forever as you're walking towards it. Funny, you know, we always probably thought of Arlington as this, you know, out of the way place, but it's really kind of building up. Where they have the Rangers ballpark there. The older Rangers ballpark is also there, which they use for other things. They're building I think it's called the Congressional Medal of Honor Museum. And I think the Bushes have like donated a whole whack of dough and they're building that right down there. So, I mean, Arlington is kind of developing its own little identity to itself. But yeah, Cotton Bowl, wow. And that whole bowl experience, if you get a great matchup and you know, USC fans travel well, Tulane not being terribly far from Dallas, there were plenty of Tulane fans there and, you know, had a blast. So, Paul, what do you got next?
I'm going to talk about a college bowl game too, but I did not enjoy my experience at all. Fenway Bowl. Yeah, we've talked about Fenway Park a million times. So why did the Fenway Bowl suck? Dave, you had built up over the years this vision of college bowl games being these wonderful things with these great fan fests and lots of traveling fans and camaraderie and excitement and atmosphere, and got none of it. Not a single damn piece of any of that. It was held, I think, the weekend before Christmas, so like the 19th or so of December. Lousy day, 40 degrees, rainy, overcast, and not downpour rain, like, you know, the drizzly rain. That's just nasty to sit in all day. The game was Louisville and Cincinnati, and one of the teams had just fired their coach right before the game. So Deion Branch. So I think it was Louisville because the coach from one of the teams went to go to the other team in the offseason, and so they fired him, and Deion Branch had to be the interim coach for the bowl game. He had never coached before. Fenway Park. It was weird, the setup. So everyone who's listening, I'm sure, knows what Fenway Park looks like. So how do you set up a field there? Starts over in the third base dugout, goes across to the right field. So if it's there, so the green monster is behind the field on one side. Both teams' benches are on the same side because there's just not enough room. And there was only a crowd of about 15,000 people in Fenway Park, which seats about 37. So just not much of an atmosphere, not a big turnout from either school. And you think the seats at Fenway are bad for baseball? Oh, they're horrendous for football. I had a beautiful baseball seat, man, but I was sitting behind the end zone.
I don't understand why there's this push to put football games in baseball stadiums. Like, I don't get it at all.
I mean, one side of the grandstand was beautiful, but that's it.
Yeah, I don't get it either because, I mean, that's where the NFL started in a lot of football stadiums. Washington Redskins, when they were the Boston Braves, and then they moved, played at ballparks. And then, you know, I guess maybe it was kind of a cool thing to do. I know Guaranteed Rate Field hosted a University of Northern Illinois game. The last time they hosted it, there was nobody showed up. Yeah, the Pinstripe Bowl, you know, they do that for. Maybe it works in some ballparks, but
maybe there was one in San Diego, right, as well.
Yeah, they do San Diego. Didn't Tropicana Field host a game?
I'm sure they have. Arizona,
Wrigley Field,
where the Diamondbacks play, they have one every year.
Polar Park in Worcester hosts a Holy Cross football game every year. So yeah, even minor league places are getting in on the action.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't know. I guess people say, hey, we can make a profit off of this, but, you know, are we seeing that trend dying down?
Well, from my experience, I sure hope so.
Hope so. You had it like Cincinnati and Louisville are not like
should be a good matchup, right?
Should be a good game.
The game was a clunker. It's 24-7. Louisville won. Cincinnati just didn't show up, so the game wasn't good. There was none of that pregame stuff. But we walked up, we parked. We got the best parking spot I've ever got at Fenway Park in 50 years of going there.
Well, yeah, that's why you went to a football game.
I had to walk. I only had to walk like 50 feet to the front door.
Nice.
I was like, holy cow! Like, why can't we do
Nice.
this for baseball? And then, yeah, we only paid $20 for it too. And
Yeah.
I will say
there was nothing there. There was nothing there. We just walked in and okay, it's here, but there was none of the baseball stuff up either.
I mean,
so
there was probably more people at the New Kids Backstreet Boys concert at Fenway than there was.
No doubt.
I would say that compared, like when I went to the Citrus Bowl, like the Fan Fest thing there was even better than at the Cotton Bowl. I mean, the Cotton Bowl, Fan Fest felt very, very, very corporate, right? Like everybody's hawking something but outside of AT&T Stadium, they have these like outdoor kind of bar spots. They have places to sit. It didn't seem like there was as much going on as there was in Orlando, but the infrastructure was there. It was a better spot to be in. But yeah, I can't imagine at Fenway. I don't know.
Well, there's not much to imagine, but just imagine an empty Fenway Park, and you got it. So that was my experience at the Fenway Bowl. Not my first bad experience at Fenway Park. I've been there enough times to have all kinds of stuff happen. But yeah, if they hold it again next year, will I go? I don't know. Well, it only costs $15, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the return on investment. It's like, I parked 50 feet away. It's $15-$20.
Yeah. So it was an experience. I can now say that I've been to a football game at Fenway Park. All right, what you got, Mark?
Well, since the weather's getting nice out here in the Midwest, I don't know what it's like up there in Ontario and New England and Virginia, but I went to a baseball game recently. The University of Indianapolis Greyhounds Division II baseball. It was about 56 degrees a couple Sundays ago. And I said, let me go check out a game. I got nothing else going on. 20-minute drive. Get to the ballpark. There was about 300 people watching the game. I saw 2 home runs. I saw a put out at home plate. I saw the foul balls getting retrieved by the players. I saw, the Greyhounds just jump up in joy every time somebody hit a home run.
Doesn't that suck when you get a foul ball at a college game and they come by, one of the players comes by a few minutes later and takes it?
They come by. I don't know if that's like that at all Division II, but I have a feeling that it probably is. Those balls cost money, so
I've been to Division I games where they do that, Mark.
Oh, Division I as well. Okay. Yeah, I get it. I understand, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Free parking, free tickets, no concessions, no merchandise. That's a little bit of a drag, but you can bring in a cooler, sneak in a beer or two. Nobody's going to say anything. I don't know. Maybe they will.
Well, this guy getting loaded at a D2 game.
Yeah, get loaded at a D2 game. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. I recorded a home run from one of the players, Jared Budis, and I posted it on Facebook and Twitter, and his dad, his mom, his uncles, everybody was like liking it and retweeting it. So, that aspect I enjoy a lot is that the families are there. So somewhere between like a high school game and, you just got that community involvement there. And it's not a fancy stadium, but it was a decent size for that level of baseball. There's a giant indoor track bubble in right field that gives it a kind of a unique look. If somebody could come out there with a grill, cook up some burgers and hot dogs for a couple bucks, that'd be an excellent spot, on the weekends. But yeah, something a little different. The weather's been extremely nice here. It was 70 degrees yesterday. Perfect weather for baseball. So when you can see a game in February without any ice or needing a jacket or wanting to leave by the third inning, that's a plus for me. So Division II baseball, don't sleep on it. You'd be surprised what you can find out there.
Been saying that for years about Division III. Division II, I'm sure, is more of the same.
Division III as well, and NIA, and all those small little treasures out there.
Yeah, exact treasure. I love the way you put that, treasures. Dave, you're up.
Well, I'm going to take the sledgehammer to that idea right now. So
go for
sometimes,
D1.
Yeah. No, sometimes I think we talk too much about the little, and we don't talk enough about the big. So kind of
I talk about the big all the time. Sorry.
The last spot, I'm going to cheat again. So I want to talk about American Airlines Arena, which is big. We went to a Stars game and a Mavericks game. I would say that the Mavericks are probably my favorite NBA experience that I've done, which is I've done about half the league. So I find that a lot of the NBA is very similar. Once you get, like, I really like Milwaukee, but once you get inside, then it's like, okay, it's all the same old, same old, same old. And Dallas, I really like the building. It's huge. It's got these big arching windows, and they have the Victory Plaza. They just unveiled their kind of first plaza statue, and that is of Dirk Nowitzki. And if you're gonna erect a statue of Dirk, it's gonna be doing the fadeaway, and it's doing the fadeaway absolutely perfect. And there's
no statue of Orlando Blackman.
No, just Dirk. That's it. And of course, it's on Dirk Nowitzki Way. So if you're lost, if you're looking for Dirk, he's on his own street.
It's almost like the Mavericks don't have anything else.
Well, I got to tell you, the next time you watch the Mavericks, like if you watch the Mavericks,
I just did when they played the Sixers.
Watch Luka Doncic. Wow.
Oh, yeah, he's great. He's great.
That guy is built like a flabby 7'2" center.
And he plays. Kendrick Perkins just said about him.
He plays like a point guard. Yeah, I mean, I would actually pay to see Kendrick Perkins try and defend Luka Doncic. It starts. He's got the ball. He's backing this guy up, and I'm like, oh, okay. He's just gonna. This is the way it's gonna be. I had no experience with the Mavericks. He's just gonna post up on this guy all day long. Well, boom, boom, shimmy, shake. Next thing you know, he's around the guy, dunk. And I'm like, what just happened? And this guy had the ball all the time. They're going to have to clear a spot right beside the Dirk statue for a Luka statue because he's that kind of player. Fun. I don't know if you saw, like, in December, he hit this falling shot to put the game into overtime, which essentially he shot the ball from his ass to tie the game up. And then he did this really goofy running man dance. Like, he's like, ah! And he's got such charisma. He's just a funny, he's just got this energy or whatever. Well, then they did the game that I was at, they did the dance cam. And everybody had to do like the Luka dance. Great promo. They just totally played off of it.
Sure.
Dallas Stars, I put it in my top 6. Great energy there. I was surprised that there was like no country music. Like, I was like, okay, well, Texas, they're going to play country music all throughout these, nothing for the Mavericks. Okay, well, that's not how the NBA rolls or whatever. They played way more like heavy metal than anything else at the Stars, and great following, great crowd. Both were sold out. Like, actually, we had a big group. We had a group of 7 with us for the Stars, and they wouldn't sell me 7 tickets. I had to get my sister-in-law to go online and buy the 3 tickets beside our 4 because they wouldn't let us buy 7 in a row. I tried with different credit cards. I tried with my wife's account. Nope. So, and thankfully we got to sit together, but wow. And often, those of us up north in like Toronto Maple Leaf country and Boston Bruin country sometimes get a little snobby about the original 6 and the way hockey should be, but I mean there's no sleeping on Dallas. It's big city, big fans. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun there.
Cool. I've seen the outside of American Airlines Arena, so I got that going for me.
I've seen arena football at the American Airlines Arena. So I got that going for me.
All right. So I'm going to stay on the hockey kick here. I actually did a stadium in between all of my PA duties, which has been crazy. I think I did 50 games over the last 2 months. But for New Year's Eve, we actually took a road trip, went down to Hershey, saw the Bears play on New Year's Eve. New Year's Day on the way home, we stopped in Newark at the Rock, went to see a Devils game at the Prudential Center. Say what you want about Newark. Prudential Center is one of my favorite rinks in the league. I think it's got looks a little different than a lot of the other ones. Like you were just saying, Dave, you go inside an arena, and sometimes it doesn't matter if you're in Los Angeles, Charlotte, Minneapolis, wherever. It's similar, but the design in Newark is a little different, a little special. It's uniquely Jersey. It's got some nice Jersey touches. The concessions
smells like Jersey.
I went to a rink last week and that smelled like a Jersey. Let me tell you.
Yes.
Hey, the Devils even wore the jerseys that said Jersey on that day, so that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, I could not get a hat that said hat on it, but that was too bad. So yeah, we got to experience the whole thing. The big hockey robot out in Championship Plaza went and posed with Martin Brodeur statue. Went up and they've got that great display. And we just did an obstructed views about Prudential Center, and you said something I really agree with. The Prudential Center's got that display of all the hockey jerseys in the state of New Jersey. I feel like I'm saying Jersey too much, but anyway.
You can never say Jersey enough.
Yes, I can. Pork roll.
Taylor Ham in Newark.
They've got all the the jerseys of the high school teams on the wall, and that's something that
they're wrong in Newark.
Really, everybody should have.
You test that theory out on Lions Ave.
No, they're wrong. I don't care how much they tell me on the app that I'm wrong. It says pork roll on the box. All right. That's their problem. Sorry.
See what you started, Paul? All right. So all the jerseys.
You started it.
No, I said pork roll.
You're going to have to call it by what it's known as.
I will walk into the middle of the Jersey Devil Arena that I won't bother remembering the name of and walk right in and go, it's pork roll! Bite! And then they'll do nothing about it. This is why we did
the obstructed views just ourselves, right? Yeah. Like, this is...
I don't know if they sold it. Well, this is the arenas in Newark. Should I have called it Taylor Ham? Do they sell pork roll in the...
Yeah, they have Jersey Shore Classics. They do. As far as I know, they have that. I think they have Zeppelis as well.
They have Jersey dogs.
Zeppelis are great.
One time.
The Italian hot dogs. I assume they have
Zeppelis
that as well.
are wonderful.
According to our review, they do sell.
All right, that's cool.
Taylor
and you know what? Maybe
they sell what? They sell what, Dave?
Taylor roll.
They combined them. They bastardized both of them.
Taylor's prepared ham.
I'm taking to Switzerland on this one.
When I see you in a week, how dare you?
Fine.
Take him to go get a crappy cheesesteak, Dan.
And it's a sub sandwich up in Newark, not a hoagie.
I'm going to take him to the worst. I'm going to take him to the worst cheesesteak shop now. I'm going to make him wish he's
there. Is that Pat's?
No, I'll find it. All right.
So where were we, Paul? You saw jerseys.
We were talking about how great North Jersey is and how great the Devils Arena is. I'm just kidding.
I was
how great the Devils are playing.
In the concessions, most importantly, they had ice cream helmets.
Oh. Okay, well now you're talking my language.
Paul Caputo of baseball.
They went out and redeemed themselves.
Well, settle down.
So yeah, we had a great time. It's like I said, one of my favorite rinks in the league.
Yeah,
so.
Nice.
And the area around the rink is not as dangerous as people may lead you to believe.
Yeah. Okay. How far'd you go?
I went under the underpass where the homeless people are stacked like cordwood.
Yeah, it's you just got to know Newark. You got to know where to go. But like if you're not from the area,
city.
Yeah, if you're not from the area,
of course.
I mean, I've parked there. You're at a hockey game, just like you go to Yankee Stadium, the Bronx, where, and I don't know what it's like now. Maybe it's different. But when I used to go to games at Yankee Stadium, we would come home. We would always see hookers on the street, and they would come to the window and
sex workers.
Sex workers, yes, they would proposition, not knowing that there's kids in the game coming in the car coming back from a Yankees game.
Did they not know, or did they not care?
They may not have cared. They're trying to turn a trick, right? Yeah. So we saw hookers. We saw people
trying to make some money,
doing crack. We saw burned out buildings, fires, and garbage cans. We saw some weird stuff coming back.
Cats and dogs living together.
Yes.
Mass hysteria.
All right, well, that was my visit to Prudential Center. Very enjoyable. But you know what the sad part about that is? The dinosaur barbecue is not there anymore.
What?
If you can't make a dinosaur barbecue work next to a hockey arena,
what's there now?
A chicken place.
Maybe the rent got too high.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. There's that little alley not an alley, but that street there. It's got a couple places. One is a beer garden now, and one is whiskey, American whiskey is called.
Yeah, American. Wow, I didn't. I assume they're still doing well. I couldn't tell you. And we have been talking about getting somebody from Dinosaur Barbecue on this podcast for quite some time.
They've lost a bunch of them.
I think we need to get them. I mean, why not? Let them. Why are you not in New Jersey? I mean, people in New Jersey don't know what barbecue is, and not that I'm saying that's the best barbecue in the world, but it is good kind of welcome to barbecue. To educate.
Barbecue pork roll.
Barbecue pork roll. Make it happen. Yeah, smoke that smoked pork roll. Can you imagine that?
So,
I air fry pork roll. It's delicious.
Jersey here. A question for you: has any of you guys been to rodeo?
To a rodeo? Yes, I've been to a
real
rodeo.
one.
Yeah, in Houston at the Astrodome.
So, I know, Paul. You've mentioned sometimes you got like a guilty feeling sometimes watching football because these guys are kind of killing each other or whatnot. Rodeo takes that to a whole new level.
They're really killing each other.
6 seconds, right?
Now I will say, unfortunately, I've been, when we went in Texas, this was my second time to rodeo.
Dave, you are batting out of
the rodeo.
We had gone to
he's a cheater and he's batting 1,000.
Colorado. We gone to Colorado Springs.
It's rodeo.
And they had a whole bunch of different events in Colorado Springs. This one we went to was strictly bull riding. The human body was not meant to land on the ground at such weird angles.
Nope, you're right.
And they have this like hype guy or whatever, and the rodeo clowns, they're the real heroes, right? Because their job is to distract the bull once he kicks the guy off, so the poor guy who's just been thrown off doesn't also get gored. But man, these guys were falling in weird ways, and the medical guys come out, and then the hype guy gets on because everybody's kind of all quiet, and he's like, well, it's kind of quiet here. We need to pick this up and break some noise.
He's not dead. Make some noise.
Right after that poor guy had just been carried out on a stretcher or limped off on a broken leg or whatever. It was like, wow. Compared to bull riding, football seems to be pretty tame. That was pretty nutty. I would like to go to the Calgary Stampede though at one point.
Our buddy Richard Smith is going to that this year.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Nice.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to the Chuck Wagon race. I think that would be fun.
I was in Calgary at the tail end of the Stampede, but I don't think we went. But my cousin David, he took me to see Reba McEntire at the rodeo and at the Astrodome many, many moons ago, and I've been a fan since. Reba's awesome.
Her show was a regular in rotation at our house, unfortunately.
Well, you know what was on our TV at home? Dallas. And I got to go to South Fork. That was way cool.
Victoria Principal.
My son just humored me as we went and toured the ranch. And actually, funny enough, they hardly filmed anything there. They got the outside shots, and I think they filmed part of one season and then the very, very end. So of course, Larry Hagman died during the reboot of Dallas or whatever. And they actually filmed his death scene at the ranch. They took one of the rooms and made it in the show he died in this seedy Mexican hotel. he had his buddy shoot him, and then they framed Cliff Barnes for it. So they had one of the rooms that was made up to be the seedy Mexican hotel room. So that was super kitschy but super fun.
All right, Mark, you got another place you want to?
Yeah, I'm trying to debate which one to go to. Which one? We'll talk with Xavier since I talked about UC. Give some love to their arch rivals. Another basketball arena, but this one feels more like a smaller multi-purpose venue, but packed with fans, a huge student section. Cincinnati had it on both sides of the court. This wrapped around one end. And I think my favorite part about it was the big blue blob, who is is now my favorite mascot in college basketball. I just couldn't take my eyes off this thing. It looked like a Jim Henson prototype Muppet. But yeah, it's become a cult figure there. So Xavier basketball, they're going to make some changes to the venue as well. Actually, there's like the overlook. There's a part of the arena I didn't even see because it sort of does a horseshoe shape, and I think the overlook bar or overlook grill, I totally missed that out, which was a shame because it's a nice venue. I love the history, the paraphernalia, the different logos, the pictures that are hanging up. They do an excellent job of just honoring not only the history of basketball, but, other sports. There's a Hall of Fame there where, you can learn about Olympians and even their football program when they had it. But a great gym, a wonderful atmosphere. I mean, once again, Cincinnati rocketed with college hoops. And if you add Dayton to the mix, I mean, you got three powerhouses out there when it comes to atmosphere and just that basketball fever. So Xavier Musketeers, I think at the time they were ranked 13th in the country, and they put on a nice show. So, and in all these gyms now you can get beer, and they have a hoppy hour, which if you get there, I think an hour before the game starts, everything's like $2 off. So yeah, take advantage of that. Get to the game early, but not in the best section of town. It's like some of their parking shares like with strip malls, these giant open strip mall parking lots, and like parking's $20, which is like, okay, that's wasn't what I was expecting, but I got them for free, so it didn't bother me. But just keep that in mind.
I thought the Cintas Center, which is where Xavier
Cintas, plays, yes, I should have mentioned that.
I felt it was much cozier than Cincinnati. Just had a closer feel to it.
Yeah.
I thought. Now, again, I went before they did renovations, but I thought it was a much better facility than Cincinnati was at the time.
Yeah, if you had gone there 5 years ago, I would have thought the same thing as well. It was a better facility. I was there in 2003 as well. When I lived in town, I was part of a mascot basketball game when I was working for the Cincinnati Riverhawks soccer team, where we drew like 5 people to games. Now they have a 26,000 seat stadium in Cincinnati for their current soccer team. So that tells you how times have changed in 20 years. But yeah, you're right. If you had gone there a few years ago, you would think the Cintas was and I would say the same thing. But no, yeah, UC did a nice job with the renovations, and Xavier is going to do some renovations at the Cintas Center as well. That's up on Stadium Journey. A few weeks ago, I posted.
What a great basketball hotbed that area is, right? Because you did mention Dayton. They also have Wright State in Dayton. Just across the Kentucky border, you have Northern Kentucky that's like right there. You're not far from Louisville or Lexington.
Or Kentucky. No. You're about an hour from Louisville and a little over an hour from Lexington. So if you were doing a basketball tour and everything worked out, I mean, wow, within a little over 2 hours, you got some really awesome experiences there. And, if you want to throw in, I'm trying to think, Ohio. Oh, I don't think the Ohio State basketball is that major news compared to those guys. But yeah, you can throw some other ones in there as well. But no, shoot, Kentucky, Louisville, Cincinnati, Xavier, Dayton. I don't know how well Wright State draws.
Well, they're Horizon League, so they're going to be a step down. But
I know that's a huge bill. And then you have Miami. You have the River Redhawks. Not that they draw. Not that that's a powerhouse.
Bellarmine playing at Freedom Hall.
Yeah, you're right. Playing at the historic Freedom Hall, which
the historically smoky 600 years worth of cigarette smoke Freedom Hall.
Yeah, you could tell us about that. Have you been to a game recently, Dave?
I went to Bellarmine. Yeah, that was a lot. I swear, man. Like, I swear they were still smoking cigarettes or cigars in there.
The
first thing I went, I was like, this smells like a bingo hall from like 20 years ago.
Yeah. You probably could smoke a cigarette and some other tobacco-like products. And
they never changed the filters in that joint or what. I don't know. It was weird.
Do you have anything else you want to share, Dave? Any other places?
That's it, Bellarmine.
I think I'm gonna tap there. Otherwise, we'll be here forever.
Yeah.
I wanted to really quickly mention one of my highlights annually. We have talked about it before, but I'm going to mention it real quick today. The Beanpot Hockey Tournament, the Boston City College Hockey Championship. The 4 teams from within the city limits. Or some would argue not all 4 are inside the city limits, but we won't discuss that here. Boston College, Boston University, Harvard, and Northeastern. They play the first 2 Mondays of every February at the TD Garden, and it is just a fantastic time. If you've got one college hockey game to go to a year, I would recommend not the championship of the NCAA championship. That'd be cool. But I would recommend the Beanpot Final.
I've been twice. I'd rather go to the Beanpot based on your description.
And this year, the Beanpot was, for the first time, they've been holding this tournament for 70 years. The first one was, I don't know, do the math.
70 years ago?
Yeah, thank you. 1950. I think it's older than that for some reason anyway. But anyway, for the first time, 70 Beanpot tournaments. For the first time, the final was, and it's only 4 teams. Same 4 teams play every year. The final was Harvard against Northeastern. You figured that would have happened just randomly at some point. But for the first time, those 2 teams matched up in the final. Northeastern won again. So I think that makes 4 out of the last 5 years for them. And what was the most incredible thing about the final is the upper deck of the Garden. They generally split it into 4s. Each school gets a quadrant for their student section. For the final, I think the whole Northeastern University showed up. So they had their section. They spilled out into BU section. They spilled out into BC section. Filled all 3 of them up. Harvard had the band and maybe a couple dozen other people. So it was an incredible, incredible atmosphere. Actually, if you go to my YouTube page, you will see a couple of videos from the Beanpot. So I wanted to mention that real quickly. And since we're going to be wrapping up, 2 things I want to go really quick because I saw the beginning of a new Division I program and the end of another one. So the new place I went to, brand new team, not a brand new place, Merkert Gymnasium, home of the Stonehill Skyhawks. And man, you want to talk about bandboxes? This place seats about 600 people, and I think they had 2,000 people in there the night I visited. It was amazing. I'm exaggerating, of course, but it was packed to the rafters, and they have been packed ever since the calendar turned. It's been an incredible atmosphere in their first year in D1. They play in the Northeast Conference, so I don't know if that's considered a mid-major or less. What's below mid-majors? Minor majors?
Low majors.
Anyway, that was one. Yeah, those are gone now. They got consolidated.
I think it's Lee majors.
There you go. All right, so that was the Merkert Gymnasium, and I also went to the Chase Family Pavilion on the University of Hartford, who a couple years ago downgraded. This is an unheard of step. Everybody's moving up to D1. They downgraded all their sports to Division III. So that goes into effect in 2024, I believe. So I guess this is the last season for the basketball team, which had made the NCAA tournament for the first time.
Yeah.
With a great Cinderella run. They got knocked out in the first round, but still, first.
Yeah, I watched them. They played at the Lucas Oil against Baylor.
Yeah.
They were, there was I saw some fans supporting them, so they're a little bit of a fan base out there.
But anyway, it was their first appearance in the tournament, and then a few weeks later, boom, pulled the rug out from under him and demoted him to D3. School's saving some money by doing that. And it's not a popular move in Hartford, but going to the Chase Arena, it's a nice little place. It seats maybe 3,000, but now it is entirely too huge for the program. I was there when they hosted Brown on a Sunday afternoon, and if there was 100 people there, I counted too many. So really, really sad to see them just kill off the program. And I feel bad for the kids who committed there and went on scholarship, and then all of a sudden, nope, I'm not playing anymore. So the team now is a couple of holdover D1 guys and a bunch of walk-ons. So they got trounced pretty badly by Brown. So that tells you the quality of the team. So I'm sorry to end us on a bummer. But all right, any other places worth mentioning really quickly before we sign off, guys?
All right, just a lot of basketball. That's all.
All right, cool. All right, so thanks everyone for joining us. Hope you enjoyed our recap of some of our favorite road trips over the past 3 months. I guess we'll do this again in, say, May. Anyway, so Dan, where can our listeners follow you, and where are your stadium journeys taking you?
Oh, gee, in the next, where the hell are we going? Next week, at the end of next week, I'll be with Dave at the Philadelphia Wings game, and at least I'll have going in with a victory because it was a very fun game to watch last night. Taking the first time that this version of the Wings, I hate saying that still to this day, has actually been able to beat the Toronto Rock. And man, was that a nail! That was fun, and that's why anybody listening who's ever been like, I don't like lacrosse. Yeah, go.
Awesome.
Go. Lacrosse is awesome. And every time I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch that, and I put it on and I watch the whole thing every goddamn time. So, so I'll be at Wells Fargo Center for the first time since December 2021.
So where can our listeners follow you?
Oh, Dan Law 83.
There you go. All right, Mark, you got any? That's okay. That's why I'm here to remind you.
Thank you.
Mark, got anything planned, and where can our listeners follow your travels?
Well, we have regionals going on in high school basketball. So I want to do a triple header this Saturday. So 1:00 is Southport, 4:00 is Martinsville, 7 p.m. is Seymour. Southport and Seymour are like the top 10 or top 5 basketball gym sizes in the world, in Indiana as well, the world, the planet, the universe. So I'm hoping for some huge crowds. I'd like to do that. I don't know if I'll get to all 3. Maybe I'll just do 2. We'll just see where the day takes me. My wife is currently getting a new car right now, so I have a feeling I may want to take a road trip. 5,000 miles on the car.
I see where the
500 miles on the car. Let's go someplace.
Hell yeah!
All right.
Let's go someplace. We got heated. Got all the new things they have added in cars.
Or will you be so poor that you can't take a road trip?
She's gonna love that.
You know what? I'll say let's go someplace where we can, get a nice hotel resort, and we'll just chill, and let me sneak out to a game or 2. We'll be fine. So
I am confident Denise's car will be loaded with all the latest features.
Yeah, he just said that. Yeah, he just said that.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he said. Yeah.
It's like there's like a spot where you can put your phone down and it charges. You don't have to plug it in.
There's a wireless charger in it.
Wireless charger. You start the car, not that this is a new feature.
But then when you stop short, the phone's on the floor.
No, it's in like it's like in that
cubby
area.
Thing.
It's a little cubby thing.
It's not one of those electric cars, is it? Because your road trip might be one way and
No, it's not electric. And one thing I talked to her about, one thing I was thinking about, on my other podcast, the Ballpark Hunter podcast, there's people that when they travel, they sleep in the car. They just put it's like a mini SUV. So you put it down. So this summer, I'm contemplating that if it's the right spot.
No friggin' way. Give me a hotel, man.
No way.
No way.
Now wait.
Oh, wow.
Now wait. If the catch
is a camping ground.
Yeah, I was going to say, if the catch is there's a camping ground, or
yes, I'm not doing
if you have the back of the car long enough and you get an inflatable mattress.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just. That's like in the early stages of thinking about it. But
I would do
50s,
that,
man. I am not sleeping in a car or on a floor.
I would totally do that.
Help you out here, buddy.
I see people. I've been down a lot of rabbit holes on YouTube watching these.
Good luck getting up,
Mark. You are too old for that.
That's what I thought. You'd be surprised the people I see out there.
If you were 21,
yes,
maybe.
Yes, yeah. I've been talking to Spencer Collins. He does that, but I think Spencer's about in his 20s somewhere. So yeah, he could probably get away with that. However, fine. Look for me. If I do that this summer on Ballpark Hunter on YouTube. You can also check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and not Facebook. For some reason, I don't have it on Facebook. Or Stadium Journey. How about you just go to Stadium Journey and you can see me write about the new Lexington counterclocks, which means I have to go back down to Lexington and review the stadium because they have all new branding.
Yeah. See, Dave, I'm not that weird. Mark has to do it too.
Apparently.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of that logo, Mark. We can talk after.
Yeah, fine. Apparently, a lot of people aren't. Even I have not heard too many people say good things about it.
No.
Oh, I thought
the blue and red one?
Yeah. I like the clock, the swinging clock, but
the backward C.
Not liking it. Circa 70s. So,
yeah.
Dave.
Starting Friday, it is March break.
Oh, nice. I get April break.
So Dave is going to Peru.
He's going to Cuba. Peru. You going to Peru?
No.
Peru. He's going to Philadelphia.
I am going to, on Friday, go to the Kitchener Rangers. Saturday, we are doing a fun doubleheader. The Toronto Marlies and the Hockey Hall of Fame. Haven't been to the Hockey Hall of Fame in a long time.
Nice.
Sunday, I'm looking at probably covering the Detroit Red Wings. I think I'll take a day off. Then it'll be down to the Pittsburgh Penguins, stopping in Canton, Ohio on the way back from Pittsburgh to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Cleveland Cavaliers, who are probably going to beat Dan's Sixers on the Wednesday.
Not likely.
Totally. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on Thursday morning. Cleveland Monsters.
Pictures of Genesis stuff.
Cleveland Monsters Thursday evening. Dan's Philadelphia Flyers.
No, I'm not associated with them.
Friday afternoon. After I go to Denix for some roast pork. And then lacrosse doubleheader. So Saturday will be the Philadelphia Wings. Saturday night, the New York Riptide. And in between that, Dan has to now put up and take me to a real cheesesteak place.
Oh yeah. No, I ain't worried.
And if we end up in Pat's or Gino's, he's gonna have to hide his face or something.
If you even look towards Pat's and Gino's, I'm gonna just leave you there.
I don't know anything about either of them.
Take them to the Reading Market. Get a roast pork.
I have no idea what I'm looking at.
They're not good.
Anyway,
you don't like roast pork?
Oh no! Love the roast pork sandwich. I meant
pepper on there, roasted.
No, but he's going to the Knicks the night before. Why would I take him there again?
Knicks. Right. Go to Donkeys in Camden.
Listen,
what's that place?
It's Donkeys in Camden. For someone who's ADD, did you not just hear him say that he was going to the Knicks the night before?
Oh yeah.
I heard it, Dan.
Anyway, you can follow all of that. Plus,
I was tweeting Patrick Larson.
Roast pork cheesesteak adventure on Twitter and Instagram at Profan9.
Oh, don't worry, we'll be taking video, baby.
I'm expecting a YouTube video or
we're gonna we are going live. I'm posting it everywhere when he goes, that's pretty fucking good. Pretty good.
Bullshit.
Nice.
I don't think I'm gonna be saying that, but
no, but I just
out.
I will make sure I don't curse in front of your family.
You're gonna get some Scrapple when you're in Philadelphia?
No.
Are you a Scrapple guy?
No.
We haven't talked about Scrapple.
Well, there's a reason.
My weekend. Let's see. Saturday. Providence. We got a couple Providence Bruins games this weekend, so I'm just gonna chill at the Amica Mutual Pavilion. Still have to work hard. Did I call it the dunk? Saturday afternoon though. That gives me a free Saturday afternoon. So I'm thinking right now, I've got two choices. I'm either going to hit BU Lacrosse. BU Lacrosse is cool because they play at Nickerson Field, which used to be Braves Field.
Yep.
Where the Boston Braves played all those many years ago. If I don't do that, if I feel like doing something inside the final 8, the Elite 8 of the women's D3 basketball tournament, 2 of the sites are in the Boston suburbs, either at Babson College or Tufts University. So I may instead hit up one of those, but that'll be a game time decision. Sunday, another Providence Bruins game. Next weekend, Boston Pride, the PHF playoffs. The Pride are hosting a best-of-3 series Thursday, Saturday, and possibly Sunday, not at their regular home at Warrior Ice Arena, but at Bentley Arena. So we're looking forward to moving our whole production on the road, and I get to do the PA for that. And very exciting news. Right before we started recording, the NCAA reached out to me and asked if I would be available to do some of the ACHA hockey championship games. So I'm looking at their schedule to see if I could fit in any of their games. It looks like I might be able to do one of this series, which is also that same weekend, unfortunately. But fortunately, but unfortunately. So you can follow my stadium journeys on Twitter and Instagram at PuckmanRI. And remember, folks, you can find all of our stadium reviews, news items, and other feature stories. We are moving everything from the old stadium journey over to the newly redesigned and awesome stadium journey. I think we're almost done with baseball now. So that will leave just football to be moved. It's also very exciting. That's stadiumjourney.com. If you want to follow us on social media, you can find us at Stadium Journey. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on, what else? What else is there? Facebook? What else are we on? Who knows? TikTok? I don't think we have a TikTok.
No.
We should.
I'm not.
You run it.
Out. Chinese government's going to be watching.
I think Greg Koch said he will do TikTok videos.
We're talking about starting up an OnlyFans. We're not. Just kidding.
We're on
OnlyDans.com. OnlyDans.
OnlyDans. Oh, did you hear about who's that woman's golfer there? Paige Spriniak.
Ooh.
She started a new site and she kind of played off OnlyFans. It's called Only Paige, and everybody was all pissed that there was no nudity on it. It's just her playing golf and stuff.
Oh well, yeah. Paige is Instagram, yeah. She's a blonde bombshell. Yeah, she pops up on. I mean, she pops up all the time on my social media accounts. I'm like, okay, Paige, I'll look at you. God bless her.
Do you know that there's a college tennis pro, not pro, but a player now trying to copy her only with tennis?
There's a lot. I mean,
there's a goalie who goes out there in her pads and her.
Yeah,
in a halter top or something.
Us guys are so gullible.
What do they call thirst traps? Right? Is that what that's called? Thirst traps? I'm showing my age here. Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, what are you talking about?
I don't know. Anyway, back on subject. Audio version of the Stadium Journey podcast. You notice Dave stayed quiet for that whole thing.
Yeah.
Audio version.
His wife's listening. Good man.
Smart. Search HIAC Talk Radio Network wherever you look for your favorite podcasts. There we are. If you're looking for a video version of the podcast, go to Stadium Journey's YouTube page. If you want to listen to us live as we record, every other Tuesday night, you can find us at 7 Eastern, damlog.tv. In 2 weeks, we'll be back. That's March 21st, for those of you keeping score at home. We will be joined by Stadium Journey's own Michael Davis to talk about stadium security. So as always, that wraps things up for today. Thank you for your support. For Dan, Mark, and Dave, this is Paul wishing you all safe journeys and close games. Hope to see you on the road soon. Be safe out there.